In this activity, which focuses on creating a classroom or remote learning management plan, we interviewed Mr. Paul Vincent A. Prado from Philippine Science High School. According to him, his classroom design before the pandemic is like the typical classroom that we have before. There is a projector and whiteboard in front. He stands in front while the students sit on their chairs during discussion. When there are activities, they disarrange the chairs and form a circle for them to have a wider space, especially if the activity involves movements. On the other hand, his classroom design at the moment is different due to the new setup caused by the pandemic. He now uses software or mobile applications such as Google Meet and Zoom to deliver his lesson. Since face-to-face class is not yet allowed, he also utilizes applications namely Quizzes, Kahoot, and Jamboard when giving activities to his students. Moving on to his rules and discipline, Mr. Prado said that before the pandemic, he has 3 classroom rules, and these are: number 1, raise your hand if you want to recite. Number 2, avoid talking with your seatmates, especially during exam and lectures. And number 3, sit properly. Now, in his virtual classroom, here are his rules. Number 1, be kind and compassionate. Number 2, raise your virtual hand if you want to recite. Number 3, use the chat box properly. And the last one is, know when to mute and unmute your microphone.
For the scheduling and organization, Sir Paul Prado's scheduling and organization are based on the given schedule provided by the school's chief. They also provide a 3-week synchronous session, with the first 2 weeks devoted to the lessons and the last week is for the activities. For the instructional techniques, Sir Prado stated that he gives activities before and after the lesson proper to know the progress of the students. He also used PowerPoint and audio-visual presentation and instruction. He also integrates the use of online platforms during their virtual class and uses different applications for learning.
So Mr. Prado uses the email when he communicates to the parents about the certain concerns and other announcement about in his students. He also mentioned that when communicating to someone, always be polite and be kind to have a good feedback.
Yes, we believe that all the data that we gathered during the interview will be beneficial for us to use in the future. We can use those practices to build our own classroom environment that is safe and comfortable to students. As would-be teachers, we can apply those practices to enhance our teaching strategies, and it will also help us to develop our own new way of managing the class. We believe that all those techniques and practices that our interviewee mentioned will help not only the teachers but also the students in their development.
Yes, there is a meaningful effect because it creates and maintains appropriate behavior of students in classroom settings. The purpose of implementing classroom management strategies is to enhance pro-social behavior and increase student academic engagement, by Emmer and Saborny 2015, Everstone and Weinstein 2006. Moreover, a well-planned classroom management establishes and sustains an orderly environment in the classroom. Therefore, if there is peace and order in the classroom, students can perform well on their full potential. In a virtual classroom setting, having a well-planned classroom management makes the accomplishment of various learning outcomes easier because there will be a well-organized instruction from the teacher and the flow of discussion will be smooth in every meeting.
Setting ideals, values, beliefs, and goals on the classroom provides the foundations for creating what kind of classroom environment we want to foster. Our interviewee emphasizes truth, excellence, and service to people before the pandemic came. Nowadays, he still highlights truth, excellence, and service to people, and he added kindness in it. Since we are all experiencing pandemic, we must be kind, considerate, and understand where our students are coming from. We must encourage them to be honest at all times. To promote excellence, we must motivate them to read the learning guides or modules given to them. For the last value or goal, which is service to people, our interviewee makes it possible by asking questions which target the effective domain, such as how are they going to raise awareness about the topic being discussed to them. This set of ideals, values, beliefs, and goals are really important for a classroom to be well managed and organized.
We believe that having a set of rules and discipline, organized schedule, engaging instructional techniques, and effective communications strategies should be utilized to judge the quality of classroom or remote learning. Without this standard or criteria, all of our efforts to teach in different platforms would be meaningless. As teachers, it is our responsibility to prioritize the safety and security of our students aside from the knowledge that they can gain from school. Creating a set of criteria or standards is not just about judging or measuring the quality of classroom or remote learning. It is also about making our classroom safe and conducive for learning.
If we were to design a classroom, there should be enough space for students wherein everyone has their own chair where they can comfortably sit during discussions. It should also have enough space for the teacher in front so the teacher can deliver his or her instruction properly. There should be a mini library which consists of books and computers that students can use in learning. A bulletin board is also must have in classroom because it contains special announcements and different topics that are already discussed or to be discussed by the teacher. A projector in front can also help the teacher in making the teaching and learning process more meaningful and engaging. The lighting should be good and enough so students can read and write on their designated areas in the classroom. Lastly, the classroom should have bookshelves where students can keep their outputs and projects.
The following are the classroom rules that we will be enforcing in order to maintain discipline, avoid using foul language, no bullying, no shouting, and more. As an educator, we are open to extra rules and regulation to ensure a safe atmosphere.
We use rewards and consequences as reinforcement in the classroom. Students who perform well in class are given rewards. Consequences are the result or effect of an action or condition, with a reward being an example and punishment being the polar opposite. As a future teacher, we believe that modeling appropriate behavior to students is an effective strategy for making the use of reward, and consequences a positive reinforcement strategy for students, motivating them rather than discouraging them. We can motivate them by giving a positive feedback such as thank you did a good job, and so on, and by giving them a token of appreciation such as a certificate or medal. If a student does something wrong, we will first seek clarification as to what the student did wrong before passing a judgment on the situation. As we all face different challenges in life that must be understood, we should simply talk to them and issue a warning or piece of advice, which is why it's critical to know and understand more about our students so that we can understand what's going on and why they act the way they do in order to provide appropriate reinforcement. First rule, be respectful all the time. Be polite when talking to the teacher and to your classmates. Be nice and don't do unnecessary things inside the virtual classroom.
For efficient classroom management, we can utilize the following techniques. First, behavior management. Developing an atmosphere of mutual respect through a combination of discipline and reward. Second, offer rewards. Giving rewards to students will help them to motivate and build their confidence to strive more in terms of participating in class. Third, inquiry-based instruction. Encourage students to ask questions and investigate on their own to generate new ideas to improve their problem-solving, critical thinking skills, and gain a deeper understanding of academic concepts. Fourth, integrate experiential learning, which means that when students are actively engaged in their learning, they become more emotionally engaged and more likely to learn more quickly. Fifth, technology integration. Incorporating technology into teaching is a great way to actively engage students with the use of interactive PowerPoint, downloaded videos, and mobile apps. And lastly, encourage them to engage. It will help the students to increase their attention and focus. It will motivate them to enhance their critical thinking skills and promotes meaningful learning experiences.